Live from the Captain Black Fishing Studios, both Jacksonville and Orlando, you are listening to the Garnet and Old Show. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. I'm Ryan, that's Vince. Vince, how are you, my friend?
Good. We got big problems today. We've got big technical problems, and I got a lot of problems with you people, Elgato. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Ryan, we're live. We're live from the Captain Black Fishing Studios, just like you said. And I have to do my normal spiel here for my buddy John Black. Captain John. He is probably the preeminent offshore fishing possibility in the Panama City Beach vicinity. If you're looking for some offshore memories to make with your friends, loved ones, colleagues, maybe people you don't even like very much, but when you go out and you go fishing with them, it creates that bond. And if you catch some stuff, great. If you don't, it's not nearly as much fun. But I know with Captain Black, you will. So if you are looking for something like that, give him a call. Captain Black's Fishing in Panama City Beach. Thank you, Captain John, as usual.
Thank you, Captain John, and hey, thank you all of you watching live out there. If you're new to the show, hit that like button, subscribe. We even have our memberships, which I saw that Vince, our members only video, which we released 2 weeks ago, you made live for everyone. So if you're curious on what kind of content, especially in the off season, that you get as being a YouTube member, which you can become a member by hitting the join button, picking your membership level, that is a good indicator. We did an hour and 15 minutes on our top movies and TV shows of all time. We are probably due to do another members only show sometime this weekend, which fully intend to do. Vince, I'm around. Shout me out.
Absolutely.
And more than anything, thank you guys for watching today. And I want to start off the show with a non-FSU related topic, which is puppy at the Eastman household.
Yeah. So random topic. We did a random topic on a show last week, right? Didn't we? And the random topic was dog shopping.
Mm-hmm.
So let's wrap this up.
Tie a bow on it. We did get the dog that had so much red tape behind it to get. Australian Shepherd Lab Mix, short-haired, beautiful 3-month-old puppy. Now, first 2 days, it was exhaustion and frustration. Last 3 days, exhaustion and amazing. So the things that you probably, if you've ever had a puppy, a brand new puppy, you've probably noticed, you get them home, they're not potty trained, they bite everything, your hands, your ankle, they're just biting everything. They don't know any commands, and they don't even know what walking on a leash is. They have no idea. So Vince, since we brought her home on Saturday, she knows sit, lay, stay. She walks on a leash perfectly by your side, and sleeps the whole night now through in her kennel in our bedroom, and only 2 potty mistakes through all 5 days. So, and we have taught her she's not biting anymore on our hands, just her toys. So quick learner. Yeah, I'm not surprised because the breed is both breeds are very intelligent dogs, and our last lab Great Dane mix was very smart and quick to learn. So, but it's fun because you go from an absolute terror, like you've unleashed like a wild creature into your house, which now she's just an hour ago sleeping on my wife's stomach on the couch, just chilling.
Yeah, so I hope that it stays that way for you, Ryan, because typically what will happen is you'll get that initial terror, and then they'll get a little bit of calming down, and then when they realize that this is now their place, they start pushing the boundaries again. So I hope for you and for Kristen that you guys are smooth sailing now for the next 15 years. But don't be surprised if Arya, right? Arya?
Yep, Arya. Yep.
Arya
Thrones reference. Yep.
Arya decides to kill the White Walker on occasion.
Yeah, exactly.
No
and I do want to answer one of our followers, Tomcat. let her sleep in the bed. So it will happen occasionally when she's ready. Right now, the fear is her wedding, the room, or using the bathroom in the bedroom. So crate training is the ideal way to do it the first couple months. It's worked for every pup we've ever had. But yes, once our last dog hit maybe like 8 months to a year, where she could just sleep in a bed, we had our last dog was a Great Dane, so we bought a crib mattress and laid it on the floor with blankets, and everything, and she slept on that. But when my wife would be working, definitely there was some. I'll just let her sleep on my wife's side of the bed. My wife is a no dogs in the bed kind of gal, but when she's away, the kids will play.
That's funny. Our first dog, Chief, we made a beautiful, just cute little puppy, of course, and they're cute all the way through. But the puppy stage is like it melts your heart. We made the mistake of letting her sleep in the bed.
Hmm.
We did not make that mistake with Cooper. So there are
Hmm.
no dogs in the bed for us in our household. So congratulations, Ryan.
Yeah.
And you have, I'm just, I will point this out to you that as football season starts and as you're traveling around, just remember the dog, that you have a dog.
Yep.
Because we often
Yep.
forget,
Yep.
oh, what are we going to do with Cooper this weekend when we
Yep.
go here and go there?
We've already found a boarding place that is a local place here in the Eustis area in Greater
Hmm.
Orlando. We have to wait until she has one shot round left of her shots. She's already got three of them, but it's like the last one. And once that happens and she reaches 4 months, then we can check her in and do
Yeah,
a, a boarding session there. And that's always great. And they're actually pretty affordable. It's about $40 or so a night.
sure.
They have a big open yard and everything. So our old dog used to love like boarding. Like we would get her home and she would just collapse and sleep for 2 days after being there. She used to love it.
Well, thanks, Ryan, for getting us all caught up on that. That's really great. I can't wait to see the dog. If you're following Ryan, by the way, on Facebook or on X, he's posted some pictures of the dog, and I don't think you could find a cuter dog.
And how about this? During the show, some point, I will actually post a current picture on X just so
Yeah.
all of you can see.
And since you're doing that, I will also post a photo of Cooper in his old age, and we'll try and get Cooper some love as well. All the young puppies get all the love. The older dogs need love too. He is Garnet and old as well.
Garnet and old to the bone, no pun intended. I have just posted a picture on my X. So go to my X at Big Papa East and you will see a hilarious goober picture. I call it the goober pic of our Arya. So
Who's here?
Arya Bark, by the way,
Arya Bark. There you go.
the Queen of Winterfell.
Um, Arya Bark. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah,
It just dawned on me the Stark Bark thing.
yeah,
Those of you that are watching, you know what we typically do at this point after we have our little banter is if we ask everybody to please smash the like button or click the like button. The younger folks say smash. And then grab the link if you don't mind and throw it in whatever social media you are watching on. We'd like to invite some more people around to
yeah,
hear what we're going to talk about this evening. Two pretty interesting
yeah.
topics that we want to get to.
You know what? I just realized real quick, Vince is on that picture I just put on my X. Kristen's wearing the Believe shirt with what's his name? The quarterback that took over after for like a game or two after Jordan Travis went down. Why is it escaping me? That he played up until he got injured. Help me out, Vince. You know this.
You're talking about Brock Glenn.
No, was it? No, it was before Brock.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's so many quarterbacks now, right? Because we went through them like candy. But anyway, she's wearing that shirt from right after Jordan Travis got injured. So sad day. But yes, we do have some topics to talk about. Mainly, we have a win percentage on the gambling markets, right?
We
Um,
did.
over under 7.5 wins. Now, I'm gonna give you my initial take. I'm happy with that, which might surprise some of you because you're thinking, listen, Yeah, Tate Rodemaker. Thanks, guys, in the chat. Appreciate that, Rock and Roll.
Boy, man, that's how bad are we? That
Yeah,
wasn't even that long ago, Ryan.
yeah, we're old. We're getting older, and we've gone through like it feels like 7 quarterbacks since Jordan Travis went down. So, thank you for that, Rock and Roll. Yeah, so the 7.5 win total. Normally, under normal operating under normal Florida State standards, you would say that's terrible. Roast the head coach, get rid of him. But under the circumstances of coming off of 2-10 and revamping the entire staff in offense and defense, 7.5. What it really screamed to me from Vegas is unsure. They're not sure. So they're thinking, man, they got a lot of talent. We're going to talk about some of the comments that Mike Norvell made in the last 2 days regarding a few players that are real standouts. But I think Vegas is saying, yeah, we're not real sure. They could have a really strong bounce back season, and they could be awful again. And so when that kind of thing happens, when there's a lot of uncertainty, and I imagine for Vegas, early season betting odds and win loss total, it's probably getting harder with the transfer portal. 7.5 is exactly like, yeah, sure. Let's just put it in the middle there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I when I saw the 7.5, it didn't bother me. I mean, I posted in the description for the show, is it fair or is it disrespectful? I don't think it's disrespectful at all, considering
Yeah.
what we just all went through. So much
Mm-hmm.
so that we've forgotten who played in the games. So it's not. And as a matter of fact, I think they're kind of bullish on the way this team is going to bounce back.
Yeah. What's interesting, Vince, is the roster is 100. Like really, it feels like 100% different.
Mm-hmm.
The coaching staff is completely different. And so Florida State, if I was not a Florida State fan, let's say I'm a Kane fan, God forbid, with the best fans in the world, according to a recent recruit.
Hmm.
Say I'm a
You really?
Canes fan, and I'm looking over here in Tallahassee. I would probably be thinking, I have no idea what to like. New staff, new everything, new players. Let me watch the first 2 games, and I'll give you my take. That's what I would be thinking. I need to see them play, and that's kind of I think where all of those are at is we really have no idea what to expect. Vince, here's what's crazy about this. It would not shock me if we got blown out by Alabama. It would not shock me if we beat Alabama, and it wouldn't shock me if we blew out Alabama. No, and it's because Alabama has a ton of unknowns, right? And they're maybe trending downwards. But that with a whole new staff and a whole new entire roster, it's basically like we went over here to another stadium, a different stadium, and they're like, "Hey, here's these players. And they're all big and strong." And you're like, "Okay, cool. Like, all right, now all you guys take off your existing shirts and put on Florida State shirts." And we're like, "Okay, what's happening?" And they're like, "This is your team." And you're like, "And what do you think they'll do?" Well, I don't know. I don't know any of these
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
yeah. That's the thing is like there is. You say okay, so Norvell's the same. Yes,
Mhm.
there's a bunch of new coaches, and even some of the coaches we kept have kind of shifted around. The defensive staff, I think maybe Surtan's maybe the only one that's in the same spot, maybe. So that's all fresh. It's all fresh, and it's new schemes, new ways to focus on certain things, and then you couple that with just the way you can flush a roster
Mm-hmm.
and bring in fresh. It's like a brand new. So what else have I got to say? Is that seven
Yeah.
and a half? I mean, I'm going to take the over on that because I do think the talent on the roster is 8-win talent. I
Yeah.
do. Now they have to. We'll see as the spring goes on and as they install and do all these things. But it's 8-win plus talent. It just is. The question is whether they're going to be able to put it together.
Yeah. I mean, chemistry is going to become, I think, a larger talking point in college football now. because you see, not just, this isn't a Florida State thing where the whole roster is different. This is all across college football, to greater extents or lesser extents. Sometimes less and sometimes more, but by and large, if you're a big name school in a big name conference, or at least a mid name conference now, um, there's a good chance that you don't recognize half the roster when the season starts.
Well,
Now, we think some of that will get cleaned up over time, but the reality is a lot of teams are going to be shockingly happy or shockingly sad about halfway through the season based on what their internal expectations were. I mean, see teams. We just had Arizona State go to the college football playoff.
right.
Who had that on their bingo card, or who had SMU going to the playoffs, Vince?
Well, only their fans did, but it was delusional. I mean, they were hoping, but their fans did for sure.
Yeah,
The thing what you just said about it's going to be super important to have a culture thing going on. That's true, and that's kind
yep,
of always been true. But what's different now is you have to have a staff and a vision and a person in charge that can ingrain a culture in a very fast way.
yeah,
Where in the older days, you might have a year or two or three to bring someone along within the culture.
yeah,
That I don't want to say that can't happen anymore because you are always going to have a pocket of your team that's going to be your mainstays. They're going to sign with you and they're going to stay with you. But for this transactional thing that happens every off season now,
for now.
for now, you have to be able to enunciate your vision, the culture, and get people to buy in. I think Norvell is suited for that. This past season is, in my opinion, an anomaly. It's an anomaly that can't happen again,
And bad evaluation.
and bad evaluation. But I think he's the prime type of coach that is able to get into people's brains and their mentality quickly. So I've got some decent optimism about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think for this season specifically, when it comes to build that culture, you talk about how quickly you can install. Like install culture is now going to be just as important as scheme install. And Vince, in my whole life, whenever I join, let's say you get together and you have to work with a group that you maybe full of people you've never met before, right? We've all been in those situations in some form or fashion. Sometimes you meet a big group of people for the first time and it just clicks. And yeah, we got to iron out some things like when we're trying to work together. But like, man, yeah, I like these guys. This is a good group.
Yeah,
We're having
yeah,
fun. We work easily together. And then there's sometimes you get with a group, and even though it's full of a lot of talented people or good people, there's the vibes off. There's something missing. And I think in college football, you're going to see more and more times where it's a crapshoot which one ends up being for that team.
with you and I working at the same place for a
Yeah.
little while, we would talk about this often. Is like there are plenty of talented people in the world
Mhm.
that are good at what they do, right? And maybe they have the pedigree. Like you can look at their resume and you can say, okay, yeah, this person they got it. They get it. They have the skills, whatever those skills are. But you do not typically work in a vacuum.
Mhm.
And you do not typically, it's just all about you and what you know and what you can do and how you execute. It's oftentimes in most things, and sports teams, almost the top of this is that you have to be able to figure out where your skills line up and how you can make other people better and while they make you better. And so it's not sure if you were able to pepper your roster with 75 of the top 100 kids every year, you probably don't need to coach as much as you should.
Yeah. If you put Travis Hunters on the field,
But that's not the way the world works, and that's not
mhm.
the way it has to happen. So you have to find the right combination. Ryan, this is kind of what you do, right? You have to find the right combination of people with abilities that you desire for your group, and you have to say, okay, that's awesome, but yeah, they're a real a-hole. That's not gonna
Or I know who they'll be working for, and that's not gonna.
and
It's not
and
a match.
that's not gonna work, right?
Yeah.
So it's I'm fascinated by this in general, not just from a sports team perspective. I'm fascinated by this within my own career,
Hmm.
like team dynamics and working together and making the whole greater than the parts. Like it's on my mind all the time, not just in the Florida State realm, but at work too.
Right. Yeah, it's important. And when I do recruiting, if any of you are wondering, in the IT space, I used to be an engineer and I used to be an IT manager. But when you're recruiting, I can hop on an interview, Vince, knowing who the hiring manager is going to be or who they're going to be working for or their team, and I can tell without, like, if we just forget the resume, within 5 minutes, be like, yeah, either it's going to work or it's not going to work. And hey, Tim, you can vouch for this. Tim also worked with us,
Yes, he
and he
did.
still works with. Does he still work there?
No, he does not.
So Tim worked with
He took
us.
it to the Great White North.
Yeah, Tim worked with us, and sometimes someone would join the company, and we were all really excited to see them join. And it was like within 2 weeks, it was clear it just wasn't meshing. And then
That ain't
sometimes,
gonna work.
yeah, sometimes people join, and it's like that we maybe had concerns about in the process on their resume,
Right.
and we're like, oh man, this person's amazing, immediately fit. I mean, I think of one of the account managers, Vince, that several people in the room were a no on, and I was over what kind of rode the room, and I believe that person's still there in a high level management
Yeah,
position.
I'm not sure who that is. I don't want to get too detailed,
Female,
but
you know what you know who it is.
but yeah. So back to the overall point of this is
Yeah,
that
you got to evaluate.
you got to evaluate, and it's the full package. It's good to have a full package, Ryan.
Yep, it sure is.
So um, let's talk about. So we're talking about the 7.5, the over under. Ryan, what are you doing here? Over or under?
So
So as of right now,
my hat, the Ryan Eastman Flick Fan of Florida State hat, goes to the over. If I was Vegas, I would have set it at 6.5. I would have been more comfortable from a Vegas standpoint. If I was a betting man and I wasn't a Florida State fan, and I'm
yeah,
looking at that, I would take the under
yeah,
because I see the 2 wins. I see a lot of uncertainty. I said this seems like Vegas has no idea, and no one really does. So they just went with like somewhere in the middle. I'm going to take the under because maybe I don't think Norvell can turn it around, or maybe I saw how dysfunctional it was. And so if you tell me, great, he brought in all these players, he also did it last year, and it sucked. And Gus Malzahn would have probably gotten fired at UCF if he hadn't left. Like, you can go through this. You
sure.
can steelman this.
You can
But
spin it whatever way you want.
yeah, but me personally, I'm seeing some of the talent that came on this season that I personally am like, I love what I see. Whereas last season, Vince, if you go from quarterback to a few other picks, we were like, I hope it works out. But I wasn't I wasn't saying DJU is going to be the second coming of Jameis out here. I wasn't like ringing that bell. This year, I'm saying Castellanos fits exactly what Gus Malzahn. If you were to
Yeah,
go into create a player and create a quarterback to run Gus's system, this is the guy. And then behind him, we have a lot of guys that are fast and can run this offense too. By the way, I think if something, God forbid, I don't want anything to happen to Castellanos, but Jackson, you put him in this offense?
well, yeah. I mean, all of the guys that are on the roster in that
Yeah,
room are
even
not
Brock.
are not statues, right? So they can make things happen with their feet as well. I mean, obviously, there's layers to that. We're not going to sit here and say that Brock has the same wheels as Castellanos, because that's just not true. But none of them are just sitting back there waiting to get clobbered, right? They're moving around and they're able to use their athleticism to add some more dimension to the game.
And we've seen Castellanos do it against us.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different too. Is like DJU came back, and all I had ever seen with them when in major college football, I don't consider Oklahoma State like a powerhouse conference. There's just a whole lot of bad defenses in that. But when I last saw him at Clemson, I was always like, seems like they have a ton of talent around him.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it matters because he's just kind of a big, kind of a lengthy guy that doesn't really have speed, but doesn't really have accuracy in his throw. So I was like, I don't see it. Castellanos, though, when he played against us, I'm always like, oh my God, like,
oh yeah, we all as Nole fans, whenever we would say it all the time. Who are the quarterbacks that we're going to be facing this season that are going to have a career game against us? Right?
yeah.
And it's typically the ones that can run around. And obviously he did more than run around.
And there's times when, I'm just being honest, when he was playing against us, where like you're like, okay, oh good, sack. No. And you throw the F bomb.
Yeah.
And he just makes a miss. And I promise you guys, there will be times this season where we think he's sacked. And he gets out and we're like, fantastic, first down.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. So Vince, I'm setting my fandom win total at 9.
Yeah.
Because I think if I look at the schedule and I think of the conference, is that official? What did you make that?
Oh yeah. No, this is official from the boosters.
Oh, okay. I thought you made like a Garnet and old like.
Oh,
I thought you were going to put the headset on. And
I should make our own version with our own brand. That's what everybody does. They make their own schedule with their own brand on
Vince,
it.
I would love it if this season at some point, and tell me the audience, everyone watching, tell me if you like this. Vince kind of has the Mike Norvell frame, I would say, the general body frame.
Bless you, sir.
So wear the hoodie.
Mm-hmm. I got to get the hoodie.
You won't be able to do the hair, but that's fine.
No, I will not be able to do the hair.
Sunglasses,
a
whistle, and then I want you to let's buy a playbook thing, and I want you to kneel down in this audience.
Deep crouch in the deep crouch.
You always have to be in the deep crouch. Mike Norvell, before every play, it seems like he's in the deep crouch, and then if it doesn't work, I want you to go like this.
Oh, and I'm going to get up, and I'm going to get up then, and I'm going to look to the fan to the right of me, and just kind of put my arm around him, pat him on the chest. It's all right.
Or go like this after a pull.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of that anyway.
But I think you could pull it off, and I would love to get one social media picture of you in full crouch with a play sheet. I think it would go viral. I think it would be funny, and people would probably go viral. People, because that's been happening a lot where people do that.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Hey. I went to MegaCon, so I'm not opposed to putting on a little garb. So, and Florida State garb I'm wearing anyway.
Yeah.
For me, 7.5 is key, right? I was thinking 7 to 8 probably is safe. So, but I'll go over on this. I'm thinking 8. And that's, for those of us that have been Florida State fans for a really, really long time, 8 is not great.
Yeah.
8 to, contrary to the show from the 80s, 8 is not enough.
Yeah.
But for this season, it may be, considering what we all just went through.
It would retain Mike Norvell's job. It would ensure he's.
Oh, and it should.
6 wins. You're on the teeter?
I think you're on the teeter with 6.
Yeah, so I think we're all on the same page there. I want to shout out some people in the chat.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, of course, we already shouted out Tomcat, Rock and Nole in the house. He was reminding me about Tate Rodemaker. Breeze Fry, it's been a while. You're not working tonight, or you must be either working and listening into in your headphones, or you're off tonight.
It's Breeze Fry.
Yeah, you know how I like to do it, yeah. Also, Tim, we've already recognized Tim, K-Dog 350. He talked about the snub hangover. Very possible that there was, if not on the team that was on the roster, maybe on the coaching staff, a little bit of I actually consider some overconfidence heading into this year from the coaching staff. Just my own opinion.
Hey Ryan, what do
Uh,
you think about the snub? It's just like a general malaise throughout the program.
yeah, well, I mean, it really feels like Vince, the moment in which you're at like an award show and you feel like you had the best picture. We're
Hmm.
getting out like I'm playing off the Oscars a little bit, and so you get on the edge of your seat and you're like doing the stand up motion, and they call the other person's name, and you sit back down.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I felt like
yeah,
for all of last year.
and you try to
And then you
hide
do the
your expression,
yeah,
but it doesn't matter these days anymore because that camera is on you, and if you have anything other than a gracious you know celebratory clap for whoever beat you,
yeah,
you are looked at to be the sourpuss.
yeah, and I think throughout my own feelings, my own fandom, Vince, I would say I felt disenfranchised by the snub. So much so that I went into last year. Now, of course, we went in with high expectations last year, thinking that okay, say we go into what do we have to do? Go undefeated to maybe make a 12-team playoff? Like that was my feeling. Is like none of this. It felt like none of this even matters, man. Like they're gonna find a way. Just I was having those thoughts where I'm like, who cares? And by game five, I was definitely um, having the who cares thoughts. But uh, I don't think it was like a disinterest. I think it was almost a state of exhaustion for making it back to you're so close to being back, like reliving the 2013 season and 2014 season. You were right there, and someone just was like, "No, you guys, you're not worthy." And you're like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah, that's kind of my point of saying there's a malaise. It's not necessarily like outwardly. You don't outwardly see it necessarily, but it permeates. You know, the thought process. It permeates. Your planning. It permeates. The administrative staff. I think. Um, I think it does. And looking back on it, I know that it did. But at the time, we're like, well, I don't know. They're going to come back. They're going to. But looking back on it, you can see that they just weren't together. That there was a very little togetherness.
And you can look at some of the moves in the offseason, like the DJ move, as a desperation to stay, to get back. We'll show them, so we're going to overreach on a few guys.
Yeah, I think I think so. But also, we're gonna remember. I mean, DJ was hurt as well, so I don't want to. I don't want to keep kind of tacking it on him, right? So I don't think he was healthy most of the season, regardless, and he's not fleet of foot anyway.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, for those of you that are commenting here, thank you very much. The commenting, by the way, Brian and I talk about this all the time. The commenting makes the show that much better. So please keep that up. And if you're looking to support the show, there's a couple different ways you can do it. One of the easiest ways that you can do it is to make sure you're following us. You can follow us on X, and I'm scrolling our ats there on the bottom. And hopefully most of you are, but we're also on Facebook, Ryan, are we not?
we are on
We
Facebook as
are on
well.
Facebook. And, Ryan and I have batted around, how we could get involved with some other social media platforms as well. We just haven't gotten around to that. But, if we were going to tackle another one, which one do you think we should tackle? Instagram, TikTok? I mean, I don't know. Whatever the new thing is, but let us know because we want to make sure we're hitting as many people as we can. Another way, of course,
What
is
about True Social?
Free Social, Blue Sky, GeoCities, and
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Yeah. Super Chat is a way you can make sure your comment gets read here on the show. It's a donation to the show. Super thanks. Not too many people do the super thanks, but that's another way you can do it. And of course, the memberships, which we've already talked about. Ryan and I are going to try and get another members only video out this weekend. a live show. And then if you're not interested in going the YouTube route, you can also Venmo us. And so, well, why, Ryan, why would we do Venmo when we have all these other opportunities?
It's an opportunity for them to send it directly to us without the big hungry beast taking a massive cut.
Yeah, that's exactly why. And some people have done it that way, which, you know, we'll take any any way you want to support us. Ryan and I are going to,
I take baked goods
uh,
even.
appreciate that. You would take dog food now, I think.
Yeah, and by the way, Vince, we went to Costco before this, so and just as an FYI, I just want to shout out Costco for a second. This will be short,
Ooh,
but
somebody mentioned Twitch. I forgot about Twitch. We should look into Twitch, Ryan.
we should. Every time, Vince, a exciting or delicious product comes out, like from a third party, and it's at Costco. Within 6 months, Costco's like, hold my beer. Guess what? We just made it and we made it better, and it's $1 cheaper every single time. They'll be
Kirkland's.
like, yeah, Kirkland brand. They'll be like, oh, you see the Jimmy Dean's croissant sandwiches? Try our breakfast sandwiches. Now they have their own Kirkland fries. So they do it with every product, and every time the Kirkland one is better.
It's called Jamie Dean.
It's awesome. And by the way, for dinner tonight, right after this, Vince, we have a Costco pizza in the fridge.
Oh, nice.
And
Very nice.
Costco pizza, what a deal! And guess what I have for lunch? A Costco hot dog.
Listen, Costco, not a sponsor.
I wish. Wouldn't that be
Which,
great?
you
They pay
know,
$31 an hour starting now.
you know what, Ryan? We don't talk about this too much, and we probably should start to talk about it. If anybody out there, I'm just going to say it. If anybody out there is interested in sponsoring the show, the business that you have, let's talk. Let's talk about that.
Or if you're in
Because
media and you've done media, maybe you want to occasionally join the show. I don't know.
yeah, absolutely. Let us know.
Buy
We're
the
ready.
show.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cheap. Buying the show is really cheap. Okay, so we got a super chat.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, it's about to come in. I see it on YouTube before you'll see it here. There you go. Let's throw it up there.
William McMillan, $3. Go Noles and beat Alabama. Absolutely. And it's amazing, Vince, as you look at the calendar, because, by the way, February has every year feels like it's forever because you're coming off the holidays. You had a lot of time off, and now you're back in the swing of work every day, right? Man, February
Mm-hmm.
feels like a long time. But boy, Vince, is it a nice time of year? But thank you, William McMillan.
Yeah, we
Illinois
appreciate
beat
that.
Alabama, but I am looking forward to that game more than any game because Kristen's, my wife's brother, is a lifelong Alabama fan,
Mm.
and we're gonna all go. I think they're gonna come with us to the game, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good. My cousin went to Bama. Um, he,
I'm gonna say
he
high tide every time I see a fan.
High tide. Yeah, high tide. My cousin went to Bama, and they came to um, Jacksonville when we played them long
In
ago,
2007.
and we went to the game together and enjoyed the game. And I think that was Nick Saban's first year.
Yes, it was. And do you
Um,
remember the Tallahassee Democrat headline that day
I
after?
do not.
Fina and then dash Lee Bowden because it was the first time Xavier Lee went in the game. So it was finally Bowden, and it was a picture of the number one
Right,
kid out of
right, right.
Florida, and
Yeah.
we were all excited. Vince, we thought, here we go,
Yep.
boy, were we wrong.
Well, my cousin has enjoyed a lot of success, so I'm hoping that we get back on track against them this fall. And actually, I haven't talked to him. Maybe he'll want to come and go to the game with us. I'll have to get in contact with him. So, Jeff, if you're watching the show, I don't know if you are or not, but we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing each other on August 30th. So, why don't you come down this way?
Come down this way, and man,
Oh, we got another super chat.
this is an exciting one. And I'm Vince. I know. I really feel like we should have Doug back on soon just to talk baseball.
Baseball, yeah.
Thanks, Daniel, for the kind donation, and then Knowles baseball 8-0, looking good while doing it.
Yeah. I didn't go to the game last night. It was here in Jacksonville. We just had other things that we were doing. But that game was a good game, and there were some guys that got in the lineup that it's going to pay dividends
Yeah.
throughout the rest of the season. So last night I think they won 9-6.
Yeah, it's exciting times now. Vince, I think it's time that we switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to switch over to, if I can find it, what is it called, Vince?
Oh, it's dead. It's number 12. It's down below schedule.
Okay, there we go. We're going to switch gears here, and I'm going to let Vince take the lead.
Yeah, if you're letting me take the lead, then what we're going to about to talk about is the Marching Chiefs, right? I had a nice conversation today with some contact I have at the College of Music, fundraising side, and he had messaged me earlier this week asking if we could promote the Great Give, which is going to be happening on March 5th, which is next week. And I said, well, we're already going to be doing it. I mean, we talk about this stuff all the time. And so I'd be happy to do it. And I said, please send me some graphics so we can put, the official graphics up on the screen. So let's talk about this. So the FSU Great Give is a university-wide, day telethon, like a full day telethon, but it's not, necessarily it's people contributing. And one of the things, and there are many things you can contribute to, right? Across all the schools, all the disciplines, everybody's got some kind of goal that they're trying to hit. The Chiefs started a goal in 2022 called Chiefs United, which, by the way, you can't see it in my image right now, but I have a hat up on over my right shoulder that is a reference to that. Chiefs United is a movement to try and fund the outlay of costs that every marching chief has to pay in order to be part of the group. Because you're like, well, wait a minute, they're going to the university, and they have to pay for the class, right? And so they're already paid. What do you mean they have to pay? Well, there are parts of the uniform that the Chiefs have to buy. And you're like, well, that doesn't seem right. Or maybe you shouldn't even know that. Yes, that is true. There is a shirt that goes under the uniform. There are shorts that go under the uniform. There are specific shoes that you have to have. You have to have gloves. You have to have a ball cap, right? So when you're not wearing, like you see the photo here, you're not wearing the shako. It's called a shako. There's a hat that they're supposed to wear. So, outfitting them, if you come in as a new student, you're probably looking at, well over $125, $130 to get the uniform parts. Most college kids, don't have that kind of cash. And so we want what this initiative is doing, what this endowment is going to be for, is to be able to say to anyone that wants to try out for the Chiefs, if you make the group, there's going to be minimal to no outlay of money for you, because we're going to take care of that. This is a major, major deal. This is the website. And by the way, I'm going to pop something in the chat here. We'll see if it works. See if it shows up. Yeah, so it did work. Okay, so on the chat in YouTube, I put the link to this site. And you can see there on the calendar, on the bottom right there, it's saying there are 7 days until the Great Give. They are trying to raise $215,000 next Wednesday. That is a big chunk of money. And they are going to hit it. And they're going to hit it because people like you, Florida State fans, Marching Chief fans, people that just love college bands in general, are going to find it in your heart to give $1, $2, or whatever, and that money will add up. So Ryan, I'm going to hide real quick. I'm going to hide all of these things, and I'm going to pull up another document that I want to talk about real quick.
Sweet man.
See if I can do this in a. Yeah, so that's the document I want. Let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of this.
ChatGPT emojis. That's what my favorite part.
There we go. So let's talk through this real quick. Think about all the money. Think about all the money or all the things that are supported for the athletic teams, right? They don't have to pay for their uniforms. They don't have to pay for their food. They don't have to pay for their shoes. Like, it's all part of it, right? And they're putting in time. The Chiefs are putting on average 23 hours per week on a game week. That's quite a bit of time. By the way, it's time that they can't be working. Like, if they have a job, they cannot work those hours, right? Because they're committed to the program. The goal for Chiefs United for the endowment is $1.6 million. This endowment push was launched, like I mentioned, 22, and they're a third of the way there already. So when I said that they're trying to raise $215,000 on Wednesday, they're already a third of the way to 1.6 million. So that 215 is going to really, really rocket that fund up. And let me just tell you, with things that have happened already with Chiefs United, the money that they've already collected for over the last 3 years. Last year, they were able to purchase rain jackets for the entire group. And remember, the Chiefs, there are 420 of them. That's a lot of people. Yeah. They purchased rain jackets for the entire group. Well, everybody's like, well, why does a poncho cost so much? They're not ponchos. They're legit rain jackets, right? So the Chiefs look and sound and they look professional even when the weather's bad. They had to get new shoes all around this past year because the new uniforms with the black pants, they had to trade from white shoes to black shoes. So everyone got brand new shoes this past season. And then also for the first time ever, and Ryan, I got to tell you, I was a little jealous when I found this out. They provided game day lunch for everybody in the Chiefs all last season.
Better lunch than the Fire Festival did.
I'm telling you, man, when my daughter told me that they were doing that, first of all, I was like, I never got a game day lunch. But again, we want the subsequent generations to have a better experience than we had. So that's kind of what this is. This fund is going to be, when it's fully funded, is going to be able to pay for the uniform parts, dry cleaning, rain jackets and shoes, and game day lunch, and all of these things. This is not about travel. Okay, this is not about travel. Travel is a separate bucket that we always talk about anyway, but today, what I'm talking about is the Great Give, which is next Wednesday on March 5th. So get that link and be ready to give whatever you can. I appreciate that, and I know they do too. I know if this was going on when I was in school, it would have helped out a lot. You're muted.
Hashtag decatted. Dress Chiefs all the damn time.
Yeah. Dress Chiefs. Fund the Chiefs. So that's my spiel. And another thing you can do next Wednesday, if you're just kind of sitting at work and you're interested, go pull up that web link that I put in the chat, and you can watch the ticker go up. It's kind of fun to watch the ticker go up.
Beautiful, Vince. That was awesome. It's a great cause. I think I don't want to talk to Kristen to see how much, because we will be giving. I just want to see maybe we can do more than we did last year. Got to get permission, but I'm sure she won't have a problem with it. But it's a really good cause. Please, if you know anything about the Garden Old Show, you know we support the Chiefs all the damn time. But Vince, I'm going to count that as your topic of discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the random topic, even though it's not really a random. and it's worth it. It's something that we pump all the time, but now that we're getting close to that particular day, I want to make sure that we get it out there. And by the way, those of you that are watching, grab that link and start posting it as well. It can't hurt. Post the link.
Absolutely. Post the link all the damn time. And Vince, we have 9 minutes left. So
A couple
I would
comments
love
too, just in case we want to lose the comments there, Sue, too. So
bring them up. Let's do it.
William McMillan asks us, do y'all think we can get Landon Duckworth in our class?
I hope so with a name like Duckworth.
I went to school with a whole Duckworth family. Not this Duckworth family, unfortunately, because maybe I may have had an in this scenario. But yeah, I mean, if this season has the turnaround that we are all hoping for and expecting, then yeah, I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't be in the running.
Absolutely. I think that's the only comment that is in there Florida State related. But my random topic of discussion is related to the game day experience, Vince. I'm going to talk about the parking lots. Now, we have had some fun situations over the last couple of years, Vince. When I wanted to talk about the lots, I was just thinking about all the fun times we had and tailgating, etc. But the lot guards and the policemen. Now, I'm not going to speak ill will of our dear police force or the people who are working the event. I'm sure it's not the most fun job or the most engaging job. But Vince, I'm going to tell a story. And I think you know where I'm...
You can tell the story.
Yeah.
And then I have a caveat to it right at the end. So go ahead.
So if you have a parking pass, and I'm sure all of you have at some point gone to a game with a parking pass to park in one of the lots, you will know, first of all, they're very strict about the lot open times. So much so that they will wait down with almost like a stopwatch with the little chains to open up each lock, like at the millisecond.
And Ryan and I are rope droppers. We'll be right there
to get our spot. And you will know that even when the minute comes, they unlink it and then walk like a sloth, as slow as possible, before they grab their scanner and come to you. But that's not the story. The story is the experience I once had with a member of Tallahassee's finest PD, Now, I'm sure they get a lot of insane people. When you pull into our lot, Vince, and we're in a lot, there's 2 checkpoints. There's one to even make sure, because a lot of people just get lost from the main road, to make sure you're in the right place. And that guy, whoever's there, is usually pretty easy. They're just kind of like glance at it. And
that guy is great.
Yeah, he'll be like, you know what, 5 minutes early, you go have fun, And so you're like, sweet, man. I'm assuming as I'm driving forward.
Listen, he's usually eating a sandwich at that point.
Yeah. But you're assuming, okay, that guy let me through this. There's some kind of coordination here between the stops. But then there's a second stop before you pull into the main tiny little road that leads to our lot. And there is an officer there. Now, there's different officers, so it's not always the same person. And in the past, when I've pulled up to there, I roll down my window with my parking pass held out the window, and I drive very slowly past, and every officer just goes, all right, keep going, thank you, or thank you, like something like that. Because at the end of the day, they're just sitting in their car or standing outside of their car, and they're just, There is one man, and I don't know his name, and
He's there often. He's there often.
Who takes it like he's protecting the president.
Listen, Paul Blart has got nothing on this guy.
So much so that because I had done it before, where I just kind of like hold it out the window doing 3 miles an hour, and that happened so many times, that's what I'm going to keep doing. He was in his car with his window down. I did it where I drove very slowly. And then all of a sudden, as I passed the cop car, you see the door swing open and him jog and say, "Sir, sir, stop." I stopped. I put down the window. "Yes, sir. Can I help you? I have my parking." But he's like, "Hold on, sir. I'll ask you to speak in a second." Got it. Uh, you need to stop at the checkpoint, and I will tell you when to go.
Yeah, we're not going from East Berlin to West Berlin here.
And I said, "Listen, because I'm not trying to get in trouble. I just want to get to law." So I was like, "Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't realize, in the past I've done it this way. I'm so sorry. I was just trying to blow it over." And he said, "You doing all right?" And not of like a natural, like, "How are you doing today?" But like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "You sure about that?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "I just want to make sure because it felt like you were giving me an attitude about it." And I said, "No, sir. I'm just, you know, I'm fine. Next time, I promise that won't happen again." And he stands there. I'm not even kidding, Vince, for 20 seconds, just staring at me. Then he goes, taps on the door and says, "You guys enjoy the game."
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, don't know that person. That's he's trying to play a dominant card on you there, making you wait for the 20 seconds in silence before he taps you off.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not fooling anybody here. We know what that's about, and I will say though that just like in life, here's Ryan. You know me. In life, you're going to get all kind of people
You got
that
good
have
ones and bad
all
ones.
that have all kind of roles, and by golly, his mode of operation, his SOP for that day said no one gets in until noon. And by golly, Ryan, you aren't getting in. You are not passing his checkpoint until
It was
noon.
11:58, and that's too early.
That is too early. So yeah,
But
and
my go
I've
ahead.
had similar interactions with that gentleman, and so I know exactly who you're talking about.
And the funniest part of this, Vince, is the very next game, he was not at that checkpoint. Must have taken
Right,
the day off or
right.
something. And I stopped completely, and the cop's window was up, and I was like, I'm holding it. I'm like, and he puts down the window. He's like, "Oh, you don't have to stop. Just keep driving. Just like hold it up out the window."
And he said, you don't have to stop. Are you okay?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm in this like every time. Now I like half stop, and I'm like, me, am I good?
Yeah.
And now we're running out of time, but I was also going to bring up the joy of when the bathroom door gets left open to the actual building.
Yes, we can bring that up next week.
Yeah,
That'll be our random topic for next week. When the tailgating gods are smiling down on you. Let me just do my caveat here real quick, and that is there is a particular member of Tallahassee's finest, who's a close friend of mine, and he often works the games as well, and he often works the games where we are traipsing from our lot to Chiefs Field. He's right there, and I see him all the time. He is not who we're talking about. He is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
that's the vibe I got. Tomcat was. I was expecting that from him. Like, sir, how many drinks have you had today? Are you?
Right.
I would have said none yet. Soon to be a bunch, but none yet. But you know what, Vince? It's all good because at the end of the day, we always have fun. We always get in, and we have a pretty good spot. But Vince, it's been a great show. Everyone, please, please, please don't forget to remember the Great Give coming up, and don't forget to support your boys here at the Garden Old Show. Because listen, even though we have no inside info, no contacts, no problem, we also have no paid sponsors.
That's true. That's true. And everybody says, well, what about Captain John Black? Captain Black sponsored the studio. So some of the stuff you see back here was all from
Yeah.
his personal collection
Mm-hmm.
And he one day he watched the show and said, "We need some more stuff behind you." It's like, okay, what do you got? And that's the sponsorship there. So yeah, everybody hit the like button, absolutely. And I put the link to the Great Give again in the chat in case you missed it. And it's coming up next Wednesday.
Absolutely, Vince. Well, listen, everyone. Still, remember to dress the Chiefs all the damn time, right, Vince?
That's true. Dress them every
And,
year.
and screw ESPN. But thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate you all, and go Knowles.
Go Noles. Send Chiefs all the damn time.